In this tutorial, I'd like to offer advice for taking the weekly quizzes and preparing for the two major exams. The weekly quizzes are excellent study guides for the midterm and final exam if they're used conscientiously. The weekly quizzes, together with several other homework exercises, constitute half the course grade. There's no reason you shouldn't earn a perfect or near perfect score on these quizzes. You can take them 5 times and use your textbook and video assignment to look up the answers. I'll count your highest score, and if you email me, I'll tell you what you're missing if you haven't earned a perfect score after your 4th attempt. To begin your study, I suggest that you read each chapter quickly to get an overview of the information it contains. You can print the chapters if you like, but it's much easier and better to use them online. Open the quiz and place it on the screen beside the chapter as I've done here. Let me emphasize that the quizzes are drawn from a pool with as many as 20 or 30 questions. Don't stop if you make a perfect score the first time. You need to look at all the questions in the pool because the questions on the major exams are drawn from them. I'll answer the first 4 questions on the quiz from Chapter 36 of the textbook and suggest study strategies. Let me move over to the first question. Which of the following was largely responsible for the great advances in steel production? Okay, go over here and you can either go through the chapter or you can search, put steel here, and you can go down and see whose name is associated with steel. There's Andrew Carnegie, there's Carnegie. That's one way to do it. You can go back here, you could look up Rockefeller, you could look up Edison, and you could look up Armour, and you'll find that none of these men are really associated with steel. So the answer is Andrew Carnegie, so click on that. All right, here is a cartoon. The gentleman on the left in this cartoon below is supposed to be, well, let's take a look over here, come back to the chapter, and let's just scroll through and see if we can find that cartoon. It's towards the end. Okay, let me see. Come on, there it is. The captions to of the pictures are in blue, and it says here that Maria Halpern accused candidate Grover Cleveland of being the father of her love child. Okay, the answer to this is Grover Cleveland. Click on that. Okay, now this is the gospel of wealth. Let's look up that term in the chapter. I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to paste it over here where I had steel before. Copy, and let's go down to see where, let me do that again. Copy and paste, and then search. Okay, there is wealth, but let's see if we can find gospel of wealth. I probably should have put quotation marks around it. That's right here is the gospel of wealth. And if you read here, you're not going to find the answer word for word. But if you read this carefully, you'll look through here, and this alternative right here maintained that the rich had a Christian duty to share with those less fortunate. That's essentially what the textbook says. This next alternative held that charity weakened the work ethic of those who accepted it. That's part of the concept of social Darwinism, and social Darwin, or the gospel of wealth, was a reaction against that, so that's not a possibility. Stress the importance of transferring wealth from one generation to the next generation to maintain order and good government. There were those who believed that, but they weren't proponents or advocates of the gospel of wealth. And the final one was rejected by men like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller. Both Carnegie and Rockefeller did share their wealth with the less fortunate. They were the proponents of the gospel of wealth, so this first alternative is the answer. Okay, down here, and then the fourth question. Which of the following men was not one of the railroad tycoons of the late 19th century? If you go through here, in fact, let's look up one of the names, just Hill. We'll type Hill in here. And see, okay, right here we get Vanderbilt, Hill, and Gould, and they all have to do with the railroad. Now, over here, Philip Armour is not mentioned in this chapter. You can search for him and you're not going to find him, but what I suggest that you do is to come down and open a, let's copy his name, and then let's come down and open another window, and it's a Google search box, and let me put it in here, paste, and throw a carriage return, and your first hit is Philip Armour, and you're going to see that he is he made his money in the meatpacking industry. So he obviously is not the answer to this question. Now let's go back, and what I suggest you do is every time you answer a question, let's go back to where we were here, I suggest that you highlight these names because they were one of the answers, and you might want to put in a note at this point that suggests that Philip Armour was a person who made his fortune in the meatpacking industry. And do that to every question. After you finish the test, if you made a perfect score, go back and do it again because you're going to see questions that you will have not seen before. I would take the test 5 times. As I said before, I will count your highest answer. I will have another tutorial concerning how you do the video clips.